Hello everyone, how's it going? Let's continue our complete beginner's guide here in 2022 for RimWorld, and we have built our first little base. We've got our home, it's got light, we have a kitchen or cooking area, we have 3 completed beds, we have a table they can sit at and recreate and eat, and now everybody is kind of doing the other jobs that we've given them, which would be cut down trees, and cut down trees. So cutting down trees is extremely important. We need fuel for this stove. We need to build this. So we have some lumber that we're in the hole, and that is going to be our next operation. But I do want to say, let's look at the time. Right now, the time is 20 hours, which in military time, that means it's about 8 p.m., okay? And so they're going to work a little bit right here. I'm unpausing it and just letting them go. But eventually they're going to want to go to sleep. And that is determined by this screen right here called the schedule. So we haven't talked about this yet. And let me pause it and discuss it with you. So the schedule, if you push it, it's the third button from the right down on the bottom ribbon. And it opens up this screen, which shows you a few key features, and let's just discuss this kind of by looking at it from the left over here and the top to the bottom. So this is showing us each of our pawns. All right, so we've got Bonilla, Yuto, and Mio, and this bar with the purple and gray boxes represents every hour of a day. So you start at midnight at 0 and you go down to 11 p.m. 2300 hours down here, and it just cycles again. Now, right now, these colors correspond to what they're doing in those times. So at 2200 hours, that's when these people are going to want to go to sleep. And that's when we're telling them, hey, you can go to sleep, okay? We have given them no set recreation time and no set work time. So what you can do is, if you can say, hey, I want you to work from these hours, we can adjust their schedule accordingly. So we can say, hey, I want you to work from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. and then fill this all in. And this way, if you had it like this, they would only work and sleep. They would never recreate. They would just work and sleep. But the problem with that is you want them to relax and you want them to be able to do what they want. So I like to just generally leave this on do anything. And for the most part, they will work. Okay, but if you find that they're being too lazy and they're not getting stuff done, then you can do some kind of schedule. And this is kind of where I started out, where it was like, you know, I would have them work a little bit, and then I would give them like a little break for like lunch and recreation, and then I would be like, hey, work a little bit, and then I would give them like, you know, some downtime before sleep or whatever. And you could totally do it like this, you know, but for me, until I see a problem, I've actually been just fine with leaving them on doing whatever they want and recreating like this. But if you get better bang for your buck by telling them when to work and not, then that might work for you. Now, another thing you want to check is look at all your pawns and their bio to see if anybody has a particular set of traits, which would be somebody who is a night owl. So none of our people are a night owl, okay? So night owl, you want to watch out for that. Those are pawns that they want a different schedule. They want to be awake at night and sleeping during the day, or they will be like having permanent, not permanent, but they will just have all these debuffs on them where they're on the needs screen. They will have all these huge negatives because they hate, you know, working against their internal clock. So if you have a night owl, you do have to adjust their schedule and just kind of flip it around so that they are sleeping, which is the purple button, during daylight hours and doing anything during the nighttime hours, and then it'll work out fine. Now, the other thing you can do on the schedule screen is go over here to manage areas, okay? And so, for example, right now, I have them all on unrestricted, which means they can go anywhere on the map. But I could also, and if I mouse over it, you'll see, tell them to only go to the home area. And the home area is defined by where your structures are if you have automatically adjust the home area toggled on, which we do. But you can also go to architecture and go to zones, all right? And then like click expand home area if you want, zoom out, and you can make the home area bigger. And then if you were like really worried about your pawns or just wanted them to only move in a certain area, you could like make the home area this big and or however big you want and say, all right, on the schedule screen, I only want people to go into the home area. And then if you click this, they will not leave it, all right? And you can do that if you wish. Now, I just have them, for the most part, on unrestricted. But then you can also, where it says, like, Area 1, you can go to Manage Areas, and then you can click on Area 1, and you can adjust it or rename it, all right? Or what you can do is make a new area. And I've had to do this in the past where I make certain areas for certain people and have them stick to it. And so you can give people really confined limits based on what you want them to do and what you are worried about for them. For example, I had one person, a pawn, who was like a pacifist, so she wouldn't fight. So if I drafted her in the military, or everybody in the military, I would want her to just, like, I made a special zone that was called the safe zone. So like you can go to manage areas and you can click a new area. I'm going to rename this and I'm going to call it like, you know, safe zone. All right. And I'm going to say, okay. And then I'm going to click on it. All right. And then I'm going to click on this. And what you can do is with the safe zone, all right, you can make it so, for example, your people only go, all right, to a particular place within the zone. Okay, so what you want to do is you can click here on zone where it says expand allowed zone, and you click safe zone, and then now I'm just going to like hold shift and I could do this, right? And then safe zone would just be inside this house. So if I were to say, hey, only go to the safe zone, then you can see immediately they're like remapping where they're going to go, because they would just go inside and hide there. And that's what I had to do with the pacifist. I just had to have her hide inside the house. Okay? So you can make zones and do what you want with them. You can exclude areas, like if you don't want people going to certain places. And that's up to you. But right now, I just have my people going wherever, and that's fine. And Bonilla right now is going to move, but then once they get there, they're going to go back out and do whatever they want. Now, you can see that my people are like, okay, I want to eat, right? And I'm going to go haul this, and I'm going to go haul that. So some people are eating, some people are doing their thing, and that's what they'll do. Like, based on when you have them on this schedule where they do anything, they just kind of follow their needs. They eat when they're hungry, they sleep when they want to. And for the most part, they work. She's putting fuel into our stove. So now our work area, our stove will become fueled, and we can actually cook there. All right? So that's tremendous. So we're getting wood going. We're getting things cooking. And I will tell you some other stuff about the zones. Where it says home area, you see this is selected, okay? They will only, your pawns will only put out fires in their home area. So, you know how we went to work and we have firefighting on. If a lightning strikes a tree, like right here, and it catches on fire, the people will just stand there and kind of let it happen and not worry about it. But if it's in the home area and you have firefighting prioritized at number one like we do, they will drop everything and like go do that first, because it's the number one thing to do, which is what you want them to do. So they will try to fight fire within your home. So if you want them to fight fires like in a wider range, you can just expand your home area and they will do that. And remember, you go to architecture zone and then you go expand home area. Now, if you want to expand the areas that you've made or change or limit them, you use these last two buttons, expand allowed area and clear allowed area. But for the home, you have separate buttons over here, okay? And you could see Bonilla is like already going to sleep. He's like, I'm down. I'm done. I'm tired. Now, in general, people will finish the job that they're on before they go to sleep. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you his needs. His sleep has been disturbed because she's working in the room while he is trying to sleep. So there's like loud noise and stuff happening. And that's totally fine because we're early in the game. One thing, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Don't worry too much about, like, I really overcompensated for this on my first playthrough, as you guys will see on my Let's Play. I was so worried about them getting upset that I would, like, drop everything, and my priorities were a bit out of whack. I mean, yeah, it's annoying that they have disturbed sleep, okay? But first of all, it expires in 24 hours, so once they get a good night's sleep, this will go away. And also, it's only -1. So, yes, you want to, like, have them not have negatives, but some are worse than others, and this is fine. Don't freak out about this. What you need to freak out about is, like, getting food and making sure your people are safe from invasions and things like that. So, you know, this is just growing pains. And now she's done with the chair, and she's going to go pass out. And everybody's sleep will be better. And his sleep is disturbed because he went to sleep early. But you can see... he's soaking wet, but after being inside for 2 hours, where he's dry, this will expire, and then 8 without table. They now have a table, so that will go away too. So really, we have a lot of their needs met. And what I will tell you is, like, it's going to kind of, I'll just let it run. It doesn't matter. It's going so slowly. What I like to do is just keep an eye on these alerts. So this is cold, so they have a problem right now because they need warm clothing, all right? So that's an issue, that it's chilly outside, but it's warmer inside. Remember, you can mouse over, and you can see it's 51 degrees inside. We have these torches, okay, and it's roofed, so it's decent inside. Outside, 36 degrees, really cold, all right? Inside, fine, you know, so they will be okay inside, but we do need to start thinking about warmer clothes for them. But that's not the easiest thing in the world to do, all right? Now, these pants are sitting over here because if we go to their gear, somebody, let's see who it is. Right. She's wearing flak pants instead of synthread pants, and she can only wear one or the other. Now, some things you can wear, like, multiple layers on your top, like you can wear a shirt and you can wear a jacket, okay? So there, you can layer up, but you can't wear, like, 2 pairs of pants. Maybe you can make long johns or have underwear or something, but for the most part, you're just wearing that. So that's why those pants are sitting out there. All right. Now, I'm going to speed it up while they sleep, okay? And I'm going to go to the fastest speed, and there's nothing really happening. Oh, you know what? Gunther is sleeping outside. And I feel bad for Gunther. What we can easily do is we can just go to architecture, furniture, and... we're going to build an animal sleeping spot, and we're going to let Gunther sleep inside right there. Okay? And Gunther now can sleep inside when Gunther wants to. That was my mistake. Alright, and it's 4 a.m. It's boom, 5 a.m. Bonillo, like, that's his thing. He went to sleep earlier, and he wakes up earlier. So that's just, you know... morning person, I guess. I'm going to slow it down to 1 speed. Now, he's eating, right? Now, you can look at this right away. Uh-oh, our food, we only have 1. No, we actually have plenty more over here, but we need them to haul it inside. Now, you can see that the food is deteriorating because it's unroofed, right? But it's not deteriorating very fast. Its hit points is going to indicate its state. And if this goes to 0, well, then this is awful. But you can see right here that the deterioration rate says it's at 0.25 per day, right? Which means, like, it's losing 1/4 of a hit point every day. And it's only been 1 day. So it's not deteriorating super fast. But Bonilla is like, look at this guy. This is what makes this game hilarious to me. These people are trying to sleep, right? And they're about to have... some problems. Minor pain. She doesn't like sleeping here. She thinks it's awful. She wants a really nice bedroom. She slept in the cold. They all slept in the cold. So even though it was 51 degrees, it was still too cold for them. So one thing that we could think of is saying, all right, we have this torch lamp, all right? And, you know, it doesn't really provide that much heat. So what we can do is we can go to architecture, and we can go to temperature, and we can build our people a heater. Okay, and so I'm going to have somebody build a heater here, okay, inside our barrack because it's too cold. So I should have probably done this earlier, but I was just concentrating on the basics. And, you know, now that we know, we're going to be fine. It's not like our people got sick, but we don't want them to get sick. So I am going to build a heater right there, and it will heat up this entire room, okay? Bonilla is hilarious. He's like, decides he wants to work on the bench while they're sleeping, and it's like, hey, wake up. Yep, and he finally got disturbed sleep. Like, I was wondering if they were going to get disturbed sleep. So instead of going outside and doing something quiet, he's like doing this. So if you wanted him to not work on this right now, you could cancel the task, or you could just have him go do something like, for example, get this. Now, I'm prioritizing, I want him to bring all of the food inside because I don't want it to rot. But check this out. Once you give him a job, okay, he's going to come do this. You can hold shift and then right-click and give him another job, and keep holding shift, give him another job, and give him another job. Now, you can see his queue has gone like this, and what he's going to do is move all 4 of these in. If you use shift and tell people to do things, it queues up a chain of things for them to do. So you can have them just kind of work on that for a while. And what are you doing right now? She is going to go build the heater, which is actually something that we want them to do. This will allow them to come inside and like warm up at any time. Now remember, when I tried to build this, it said you can't. You don't have 50 steel stored, but your pawns will override that if they can get that resource nearby in the environment, and they can. So she's going to go do that, right? Oh, she's using it to build that. That's fine either way. All right, so Bonilla is doing his forced job, and that's fine. And Yuto, okay, Yuto wants to go get, he's going to go build the heater. And he's going to get these components and build the heater. He's also moving these logs into the stockpile, which is good. All right, and what are you doing? You are harvesting the oak tree. Okay, so instead of harvesting the oak tree, because now you can see we have 147 lumber, which is great. Like, I'm really happy about that. I'm going to tell her to start getting some other things. I'm going to say, hey, go haul the medicine, and haul the medicine. Put the medicine inside. Also, can you get these pants? And let's see, what else do we want inside that we're worried about rotting? Steel eventually, but I don't think... Nah, we're okay with that. This is fine. And now we've built this, which is the research bench, and we need to go to architecture, furniture, and we definitely want to build a chair for them so when they're researching, they have something to sit on. Now that we have a research bench built, it's time to talk about the research. So I can select the research panel, okay, which is down here on the bottom ribbon. It's right between wildlife and quests. And now this opens up the research tree, and it shows you what you start with, okay? So we already have passive cooler, completed, complex clothing, furniture, stone cutting, electricity, air conditioning, nutrient paste. So you start with some recipes known, okay? And you get to pick what you don't know. What you do know is in green, it's completed, and it's a progress bar. It fills up as you work on it, as you get research points. And then what you can research is selectable, and then what you can't is grayed out, and it will show you what the prerequisites are, okay? So here are some things that I want us to get, all right? I would like us to get smithing. Smithing is important for us to build blades and to go into doing anything like machining and getting better weapons and stuff like that, all right? Now... batteries are also quite good. So electricity will let us build some energy But I think I'm going to just kind of, before I do any research, I'm going to look at the map and see what we've got here. We don't really have that much water on our map, all right, because we didn't build by a river, which would allow us to build a water mill generator. And so we don't have a ton of water, okay? Let me see about this. We can build, though, wind turbines, all right? So if we want to generate electricity, which we do, we're going to need to build a wind turbine and build batteries, all right? So I'm going to go into research, and you could totally do smithing if you wanted to start getting some guns, like for your people to be able to build guns, and you'd be totally fine doing that. But I'm instead going to go over here and just research batteries, all right? So I'm going to tell somebody to research that. So by selecting battery and saying research, that has queued up that activity. So now somebody's going to come and research battery as a job, and it's going to be the person with our best research. Let's look at who that is, all right? So I'm going to go to our bio, and we have it's based on your intellectual, okay? So we have a 3 here, a 0, and a 1. So it's going to be Yuto, all right? So we don't have the best researcher, but that's okay. Now, the flashing lightning bolt means this has no power and this has no fuel. Now, power, okay, is what this heater needs to heat our structure. And so, well, we have no electricity, okay? That's bad. So what are we going to do without electricity? How are we going to power that, all right? Now, I will tell you that you could just build a campfire if you wanted it to heat yourself in a simple way, okay? And you would fuel that with logs. But I want the heater instead. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to architecture, and I'm going to go to power, and I'm going to actually, I could build a wood-fired generator, all right, and just burn wood to power this. But instead, I'm going to build a wind turbine. Now, when you go to build a wind turbine, do you see that there are 2 zones, 2 rectangles in front and behind it, and you need those both to be clear so that the wind to the turbine and through the turbine is not obstructed, okay? So what you can do, all right, and I'm going to just build my wind turbine. For the time being, I'm going to put it right here, okay? I'm going to put it here, and that tells people to build a wind turbine. But what I'm going to need then is for people to go and chop down the trees that are in the way of it, okay? So anything that's in the way of it, I need it to be cut down. And I'm going to tell people to prioritize this job. So Bonilla, what are you doing? He's doing the oak tree, okay? So we need the person with the best construction on this, all right? So who's our best at construction? It's Miyu. And Miyu, what are you doing? She's going on the oak tree. I want you to build this. So I'm going to tell her to prioritize building that. And then Yuto, I actually want you to get that out of the way. And Bonilla, I need you to get that tree out of the way for our wind power, okay? Now, after you go to power, the other thing you're going to need are power conduits, which is like power cable. So we're going to run cable here, 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 up until it gets to the turbine, like that. You don't have to get it this close, by the way. You can have it where it only goes to like right here, and then a smaller like power line will be built from the device to the conduit. But I like to have it as close as possible because it eliminates shorts, or at least minimizes the chance of shorts happening. If you have like really, really long power cables, there's a chance that it will short circuit and cause a fire in your house, and I don't want that. I'm in a wood home, so that's not good. You see that they're immediately starting to build the power conduit. Yuto's doing that. And Mio should be, yep, she's going to haul some steel over to this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, go to 2. And she's building it. And terrific, right? So we're starting to build this wind turbine, okay? And Yuto is... I need you to actually chop down this tree. I'm going to go to Architect, Order, Chop Wood here. Oh, that's not a... Okay, this tree is not big enough to chop. So what I have to do is have Yuto... I'm going to right-click on... I'm going to say, actually, Orders, cut the plant right there. And once that job is there, I'm going to have him just cut it down. We're not going to get anything, but it needs to get out of the way. All right? So she's building this, right? And soon you're going to see a giant wind turbine go up. Okay? And it's there. All right? And now, right away, the wind turbine is going. Okay? Looks like I built some unnecessary power conduit, so I wasted the steel, and that's on me. But it's working. All right? Now, here's a couple of things about this. The wind turbine is now on, right? You can see the turbine going, and it's generating electricity. And immediately, you can see that the heater is working. It has enough power. It says power needed 175, and the grid is generating 875 watts of power. Our grid is producing 857 watts, and we need 175 because we only have one electrical thing, which is this. And so we are in business right now. And that's tremendous. So now we have this producing heat. Now, you can, okay, adjust the temperature that you want for the heater. Right now, its target temperature, and this is in the lower left in the tooltip, is at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. You can adjust that by clicking lower by either 18 or 2, or you can raise it. 70 degrees is pretty reasonable, but I'm going to turn it down just a little bit to, like, 64. 66 is fine, all right? And that will keep them warm at night, okay? Now, here's the wind power. Let me look at the wind turbine further. You can see that it's generating, okay, 771 watts is what it outputs. And this bar fills up with the more wind that it gets. And you can maximize the amount of wind that it gets by keeping these two white rectangles clear. But it also depends on how windy it is just outside, all right? Now, we need batteries, okay? And so what this is telling me on this alert over here is basically that if the wind stops blowing, my heater stops working. But if we have a battery, we can store any excess power that we produce and then run off the battery when the wind stops or a solar flare happens or whatever. So, no, not a solar flare, but that's for solar panels but this is fine for us right now. And there are two things we need to do. We're going to go to architecture and we're going to go to zone. I'm going to build a growing zone. All right. And so I'm going to build a growing zone here where I can and here. Okay. And what that does is you'll see now that in the available squares in front of and behind, okay, my wind turbine, I have farms. And this means that I'm going to be growing crops here. And because there are crops that I have designated here, what happens is your ponds will never let trees or plants grow too tall to inhibit the flow of wind. So this is kind of a nice way to just have them automatically keep these zones free. All right. So once you build a growing zone, you can, with it selected, all right, I have growing zone 1 selected, right? My mouse is over here. If I select the growing zone, it highlights it. And the reason you can't grow crops here is because there's rocks. So this is like rocky terrain. It's not suitable for growing. So I can't, so it only lets you grow where you can. And I'm growing potatoes for the time being, but I don't want to grow potatoes right now. What I want to grow is rice, okay? I'm going to grow rice here, and I'm going to grow rice over here. Eventually, we're going to start growing corn, but for now, we're going to grow rice because it grows a little bit quicker. All right, so we're going to get rice and get that going, just so we have some food happening. So now we have a long-term food solution in place, which is rice. And we have 2 fields for rice, and this will be plenty of food for the 3 of us, okay? But I want, all right, batteries. So how am I going to get batteries? I'm going to go into the work tab, and I'm going to tell Yuto to prioritize research, okay? But wait a minute. He's my main plant guy. So I'm going to instead look at my pawns and say, who has some intellectual? It's Bonilla. Bonilla is bad at intellectual, but because he's too smart, he can learn it quickly, okay? So I'm actually going to tell Bonilla on the work panel, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, I know you're not good at research, but I want you to make it your top priority. And watch this. Eventually, once he gets done with the job that he's doing, he's going to start researching batteries for us. And there he goes. He's like, oh, I need to research batteries, okay? And you can watch him working. And Yuto is, because he's on growing, he's immediately going to start planting the rice, okay? So he's putting rice in for us, okay? So now we have Yuto working on our food, and Bonilla is researching, and Mio is cutting down trees, all right? And all of this is what we want to be going on, all right? This is perfect. So we have heat inside, and if you look at the temperatures, check this out. If I mouse outdoors, it's 57 degrees, but if I mouse indoors, it's 67 degrees because of our heater. So now people won't be sleeping in the cold. They'll be quite comfortable inside, and that's tremendous. We're getting food going. We have wind power, and we worked on our research. How are we doing on research? How's our battery going? The progress is 5 out of 400, all right? So it's going to be slow because our researcher is slow, but you can also track the progress of your research down here. You can see the bar filling up. So everyone, I think this is a great look at episode 4 here. We've done a bunch of cool stuff. We've got power. We're working on research. We have heat. We're growing crops. And we looked at the schedule zone. We talked about the home zone. And we're just really, really making a go of it here. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I hope this was useful. Please post any questions that you have in the comments below, and I'd love to go over them with you as we continue on in this complete beginner's guide with our initial starting group. Take care.